Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and of course, good night, depending on where you are on our planet. My name is Sroda Aglago. Thank you for joining me on Love, Forgive, Live podcast. I hope everybody had an amazing week or weekend. I know mine was. Mind you, there was something strange this weekend. I was walking, and I'm sure I talk about me walking every morning. Well, this time I was walking, and I noticed something different this time. I recognized that there was these two birds in my path, and it's like when I got to this particular area, they stopped. Both of them stopped. And then I thanked them for staying in my path. And I said, I hope they have an amazing day. Please don't write to me and tell me I'm out of my mind. I do that all the time. I'm grateful for these unique experiences that I experience on our planet Earth. I'm respectful of nature. I'm respectful of the creatures that I run into, and I do pay attention to them, and I'm very intentional in communicating. I don't know if they hear me or not, but as far as I'm concerned, I feel I need to acknowledge them and let them know that I acknowledge their presence and I am grateful. Well, in any case, I stopped, and then, like I said, they stopped in my path, and I thanked them, and then I started walking, and then they hopped along right in front of me, and then I was like, this is unique, and I was like, okay, I do have two birds in front of me, guiding me through this walk. Then I realized we got to this path where I need to cross the road to the other path, and when I was going to cross, I decided to stop for a bit and watch what they were going to do. But they stopped. They didn't move. So then I decided to go forward. And then they separated their path a little bit, one on each side of me. And then I walked. I walked and went to the other side. When I got to the other side, I realized they flew to get to that side. And then I was like, okay, I guess I do have guests walking with me. And after, I think, walking halfway through that path, I realized they were flying high above me. And then I think they went to the nearest tree, and then they were gone. When I saw that, I was pretty happy. And I was like, yay, I bet you my angels came near me to let me know that they're here, and it's okay. It's okay. So that was my little story to this weekend that I thought I would share with you guys. Oh, girls. Anyways, today's topic is interesting. I'm not going to talk about just one thing. I'm going to talk about a few things. And these things have been on my mind for quite a while now because I do think about them. And I know, like I was just speaking a little bit about being intentional and noticing the creatures around us and nature and being grateful. I take great pride in that, in understanding that nothing happens by chance and everything happens for a purpose and a reason. So if being intentional in our living, in our ways of interacting with one another is very important. So that's number one. The second one I'll talk about is how rumination is literally mental abuse that you do to yourself. Yes, literally. And the third one is when you end a relationship with someone, or when your relationship is ended, where both of you go your separate ways, once you two move on, it is very important that you make a choice. And the choices are either to live in kindness and wish kindness to the other person, or you live in bitterness, anger, resentment, hate. You spew that towards the other person. And it's important to choose. Either choose the hate or you choose the peace and love and kindness towards the other person. So these are the 3 things I would talk about today. If you feel that was too much information, let me repeat. 1, living intentionally. 2, ruminating is literally mental abuse you do to yourself. Number 3, make a choice when you break up a relationship or when your relationship is ended, because usually it's not one person who breaks it. It's usually a mutual understanding, either by both parties recognizing that this is not working out, or one person recognizing this no longer serves them, and then talk about it and decide to go their separate ways. So once you do this, you make a decision to end a relationship, it is important to make one of 2 choices. Either a choice to not be hateful, a choice to be hateful, bitterness, anger, and hate, or peace, kindness, and love towards the other person. There's a reason why you need to make a choice, because the choice you make is what you will attract. I will continue with all these things later, but right now I'm going to talk about intentional living, or living intentionally. Living intentionally is very important. I believe, I don't know about you or anyone out there, they might have their own understanding or concept or belief system. That's fine. My understanding, or what I have come to understand at my age, is this. So far, I've lived over half a century, so I think I've learned a thing or 2. Now, don't quote me too much on that. Anyways, I think I've learned a thing or 2. Living intentionally is an amazing way to allow yourself to think before you speak. Allows yourself to think before you react. Allow yourself to ask questions as to the decision I'm going to take. Is this serving the message I want to seek, or the message I want to spread, or the message about who I am and how I conduct myself as a person, a parent, a spouse, a friend, an employee, or an employer, or a child. Intentional living or intentional thinking is a powerful thing, because when you do so, you begin to connect to the heart and begin to ask yourself these questions. What message am I trying to convey? Am I saying I want to be known as a brutal, hateful, vengeful person that doesn't care about anybody's feelings, so you just do? Or are you going to become the kind of person that wants to spread love and be intentional? Because intentional living and living your life in an intentional way, you begin to become more still, more quiet, especially with the thoughts that are running in your head. Why am I saying that? Because when you are intentional, you would ask yourself this. For example, if you're a spouse, am I getting up this morning out of the bed and choosing to be intentionally kind, intentionally loving toward my spouse? The strange thing is, when you become intentional in that sense, I believe your life becomes a lot easier. Because there are some things that you don't need to say. You don't need to speak because you're being intentional. If someone is doing something to you and you recognize that the person is not being kind to you, if you're really an intentional thinker or an intentional living being, this is what you would do. You will recognize that, this person is angry right now and spewing a lot of anger and venom and rage. And as I recognize that, I will be intentional with my actions towards them by maintaining my boundaries, that I will not join them where they are right now and how they're feeling, because obviously this person is feeling low at the point. You don't know the reason why, but they're feeling that way. So they're spewing that anger, not towards you, but it's where they are at the moment and what they're dealing with. Most of the time, the person is giving you an information of where they are. But what I see all the time, most of the time anyways, is that people begin to get defensive and decide to match that person that's feeling angry, bitter, and dejected. The strange thing is, when you join them, this is the other part. When you join someone in that state, you are actually affirming what they're feeling. It may not be correct. It may be a misunderstanding. It may be something that isn't true. But because they're feeling that way and spewing it out, you joining them is affirming and validating that. Now, my question is, if you recognize this person is feeling this way, you're not that, why would you decide to join them? That's the next question I'll ask. Why? Because when you join them, you have lost your place of where you were in that calm, in that peace, in that joy, and invited toxic behavior into your life. And here's the thing. When you do so, it hurts you. It damages you. It creates more hurt for you. You're the one who is going to be sick with it. That person has been dealing with the garbage for a long time. So they've become accustomed to it, even though it's not healthy for them. But for you, because it's not part of yours, it's not your boundary, and it's not what you want, and you decide to take it on, why would you take somebody's crap on? That's the next question. Why would you take it on? Ask yourself that. Joining them in that gutter is not going to help them. But you being stoic, you being strong and loving in your state of being, that it is okay for someone to have a bad day or, a bad week. But don't let that change you. Don't let that put you in a different state. Stand still. Stand strong. And then when the person is calm enough, ask questions like, hey, seems like something was really off with you this week. What's going on? Care to share? Is there anything I can do to help? And the strangest thing is, the moment you ask questions like that, it changes the mood, because the person recognizes you respect them enough to ask questions. You didn't start attacking them. Because at that moment that they're in that state, all they're believing, attacking like a mad dog. But the moment you're gentle, because you know where your center is, and you're not taking their stuff on, the strangest thing, they feel better and they recognize, wow, this person respects me enough to ask questions and not blaming me that I'm being mean or vicious. Intentional living allows you to become kinder, more loving, more understanding. When you're a parent, take the time to be intentional with your actions toward them, because if you become aware of the things you say, your behaviors, how that begins to imprint on your children's experiences, I promise you, you become a lot more intentional with your dealings with your children. When you become intentional with them, it allows you to become in tune with them. It allows you to begin to see where your children are coming from. Because guess what? They may seem like children to you because they're children, but those are the ones that are going to become the adults of the future. So they are also under a tremendous amount of pressure, especially in today's heightened social media state we are in, where everything is gimme. I want instant gratification right now. Instant gratification right now. Right now. I can't wait. I'll give you a little story. Years ago, we traveled to a country with my child. And at the time, my child was about 9 years old and wanted to play with Build-A-Bear Workshop. And I purchased a modem to use. When I purchased the modem, I realized that the modem is not as fast as it should be for the game to load. And of course, when it was buffering and loading, it was taking so long. So I turned around and saw my child crying, like really crying. And then my mother turns around, she's like, "Why is she crying?" And I was like, "Well, the game is not loading fast enough." She's like, "I don't understand. Why is she crying?" I was like, "Mother, because the game is not loading fast enough." My mother couldn't understand what that means or what was happening. And at this point, I said, "Okay, Mother, when you buy this thing called a modem and you put it in," so I pointed to the thing, "when you put it in the computer, it's supposed to make you get on the internet." But she did get on the internet, but the game she wants to play hasn't opened up yet, so it's frustrated. And when she's frustrated like that, she cries. I thought that was enough explanation for my mother. The next thing she knows, she said, "Okay, and still, I want to know why she's crying." I was like, oh my gosh, I'm explaining this, but she's not getting it. Then my mother said, "First of all, you said the thing is not loading fast enough. But there's nothing you can do to make it go faster. It is what it is." And I was like, "Yeah, where is this going?" And she said, "Okay. So if there's nothing you can do, you just have to wait patiently for this thing to open up. Where is the tears coming from?" I was like, "Because she's frustrated that it's not opening up." And she said, "But she can't make the things happen faster." And I was like, "I know. So why not just have her sit back and wait, or go play another game or do something else?" And I said, "Yeah, you're right. Under normal circumstances, that's what we do. We will say, okay, this is not loading. Let me go do something else. Or let me go sit down and eat something. Or if it's not time to eat, let me go and play a game or walk outside or something. Whilst this thing is taking its time." But my child sat in front of that computer and cried and cried and cried. And it felt like there was something serious happening. And then I explained to my mom she wanted it done now so she can play now. And she's like, "Wow, how about waiting patience? And I was like, well, she doesn't know that. She doesn't understand it. And she said, why? She's a child. She should be able to be patient. And I was like, well, not this child. And that's when I explained to my mom about, well, that's the way they do it in a state, is that things get loaded immediately and they go and play and then they have fun. And she said, well, you need to teach your child or tell her to have patience. And I was like, must be nice. And I said, okay, thanks, Mom. I just didn't know what else to say. But that's what I'm saying. In our generation, our children now are so used to things being done immediately. And if it's not immediately being done, it's frustrating. Excuse me. I'm sure you can recognize my voice still hasn't come back fully yet. It's been a strange cold that I've had, but I'm still working on it, and eventually I'll get my real voice back. Anyways, you might hear me clear my voice often. It's because I'm just got something in my throat. Anyways, as I was speaking, that is why being intentional with your children is very important. Allow them to learn the lessons of patience, change an outlook, change a perception, change what you were going to do when it didn't work out the way you want to do it. It's okay, you can change. If something doesn't work out, you can change anyway. Because once you're so intentional with decisions about things like that, it frees you. The angst you're feeling that, this is not opening fast enough for you. It wouldn't be. You just be, okay, it's slow. Well, I'll go do something else. It's no biggie. So intentional living frees you up to take the time to not be so heightened, but free enough to be calm and live the life you're supposed to live. You only have that. I hope intentional living is important. When you're intentional with your family, friends, and work, the strange thing is people actually notice and they go like, oh, that's kind, that's nice. Why not give that a try? Be intentional in your behavior towards one another. Be kind towards one another. And you'll be amazed how much it's so relaxing to relate to each other. My second topic is the one I said, rumination, is literally mental abuse you do to yourself. Yes, I said it, and we do it all the time. I don't know why, but we are our own worst critics. We beat ourselves so much and discredit ourselves. That's why I always say that the thoughts you hold in your head about you does more damage than what somebody tells you on the outside. Because guess what? On the inside, you are beating yourself and beating yourself. So if somebody says it to you, sometimes you go off and you get mad at them. But it's not because of what they said. It's because it triggered the thoughts that you were already having in your head. When you ruminate and something happens and you ruminate on it and then keep saying, I'm worthless, I'm useless, nothing I touch ever works, what is wrong with me? What was I thinking? How could I even fool myself to think that I could do this? You're just hurting yourself. You're not making things any better. It doesn't make you any stronger, and it doesn't make you become more positive. Ruminating will create toxic behavior within you. You will continue to beat yourself, put yourself down, and your confidence will suffer. So now when you get around people, it'll start showing, because now you start getting nervous around people. And that is because you are beating yourself to a state that you're not even able to recognize yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Beating yourself and cutting yourself down. It does not serve you. It does not serve others. And it does not help anybody. Rather, it takes from you, prevents you from doing what you want to do, prevents you from living the life you meant to live, prevents you from becoming a person that takes the time to let go. Because ruminating is mental abuse you do to yourself. When you let it go, the situation go, you become more important to yourself than to anyone else. Because when you're more important to yourself than anyone else, imagine what you could accomplish, the things you could do, and how you could inspire others, and including yourself. You'll be able to do more than beating yourself. Because when you beat yourself like that, do you realize it's very hard to get up from beating yourself? When you beat yourself in the head so much. When it's time for you to stand strong, you can't. Because you've given all your energy to beating yourself in your head. And that is limiting. That is not worth anything. Take the time to stop yourself from ruminating on things. Because even if somebody did something to you and they walk away, ruminating plays the bad record over and over and over and over. And you start believing it's real when it's not. The third one is this. When you break up with someone, it is important for you to make a choice. Early on, as soon as the breakup happened, it is important to make a choice. One, do I perceive the experience that I had with that person with hate, anger, resentment, disgust, pointing fingers at the person all the time? Or do I look to that relationship and that individual with kindness, love, and forgiveness? And of course, the major one is the lessons you learned from the relationship. And be grateful for it. I know some of you are going like, grateful for such a terrible relationship? Grateful? Oh, Lord. Yes. And I will explain why. Gonna drink some more. This hot tea. It's important to choose. Let me first explain why. The reason why I'm saying that you make a choice, because when you make a choice, that is what is going to determine how you behave towards the relationship as it's ended. Because as you do, that's what you will attract, and that's what you will see in your next relationship. Oh yeah, I said it. That is what you see in your next relationship. If you are sitting around and say, oh, that person I was married to, or that person I was dating, or that person I was engaged to was horrible, was this, was that, they were never this and there's nothing There's no redeeming qualities about them. They're just horrible, terrible people. And you hate them more. And you wish them more. More anger, more hurt, more misery. When you do that, let me let you in on a little secret, universal law secret. Remember, like attract like? Okay. If that is the emotion you are putting out, that person is terrible, that person has nothing, they're horrible in a relationship, I didn't even benefit in it, it was horrible, it was this, they were nasty, they were bad, they were this, they were not good enough, they were this, they were that. You think you're running away from something. Sweetheart, let me explain this. Your next relationship will reflect exactly all the thoughts and the things you said about that person. You will attract that same person, if not worse. Yes. You will attract the person you're painting, or worse. This is a fact. So if that's what you're choosing and saying that person is miserable, that person is suffering, and you go bragging and getting happy and excited about it, that person that you ended a relationship with is suffering, you are enjoying it, newsflash, you will get that back. And you will turn around and say, now all people, this person is the same, or they're all the same, or the person that I was married to or engaged to or was dating, if it's a male and talking about a female, then you say, all women are the same. If it's a female that experienced a relationship with a male, we'll turn around and say, all females are the same. Okay? And if it's same-sex couples, then they'll turn around and say, this person has this personality. Every time I meet somebody with that personality, they're all the same. No. It's not true. It's an illusion. It's an illusion you created to believe to satisfy your ego. So now guess what you're going to do? You are taking that as a lens and you see the world through that. So you will go seeking exactly that. So every time you say, this person that we broke up and they're miserable, good. I want them to suffer. I want them to do this. Then you start bragging about it and talking about it. Yeah, after I left them, their life is miserable. I'm so happy. Yeah. No, sweetie, you're getting that back. You will attract worse, if not the same person, everywhere you look. This is how this universal law works. Please take note of this and be clear about this. That is what you get back. If you do not want it back, then please make a choice. The second one, choose kindness, love, forgiveness towards the other person, peace towards the other person, because that's what you desire for yourself. No matter how bad they were to you, or no matter how terrible they were to you, choose that. And then lastly, choose to be grateful for the lessons you learned in that relationship. Is that important? If you want your next relationship to look different, to look better than what you were in, do the inner work. Take the time to do your inner work and let that go and begin to appreciate the relationship for what it taught you. I believe once I talked about what the 10 steps of what to do when you're breaking up in a relationship. One of them was like to stay away from the person, and one of them was like become a person that learn to appreciate what you were able to get out of a relationship in terms of experience. It still goes to the same way. That's what I'm saying. Learn to appreciate what the relationship was when it was good. And when it wasn't good, what lessons you learned from it. Because guess what? You were in it. You were in the relationship for years, if not more. So are you saying that your time was not worth it? Come on now. Appreciate it and let it go. And be grateful for the lessons that it taught you. Be grateful for the wisdom you learned from it. Be grateful for the knowledge you receive from being in it. And thankful for it. That is the key. Because once you do that and do the inner work to actually forgive that person and let it go, and where your thoughts towards them are of peace, kindness, good, and forgiveness, and a thank you, gratitude, ooh, that is what you will receive. That is what you will attract. Your lens will be fixed. Your lens will be better. So now you will go seeking out a partner who will present the kindness to you, the love to you, the peace, the forgiveness, and lessons to you. So which one would you want? Now that you have the facts of how the universal law works, how does this work? Now you know. What are you going to do? That's important. Because the choice you make is what you attract. The choice you make is what you get back again and again and again. Until you stop yourself in your tracks and recognize how much of what you're experiencing after that long relationship. What do you get? Determine that for yourself. Choose. I said once that happiness is a choice. The same thing with this. You want a better relationship? Create it. Start living it. Start sending that forth into the universe. And the universe has a way. Let me tell you. The Creator has a way to bring that to you. Knows the quickest way, the best way to bring that to you, into your processing, into your experience, into an action that you can understand. Creating that level of understanding takes on how you begin your next stage in life. Because the past relationship is ended. Don't be looking back, but look forward. But as you look forward, recognize that you have an amazing part to play in it. Once you do so, you begin to attract the right people into your life. Your life will become more peaceful, more calmer. You wouldn't need to be bragging. But you just do what is right for you. I say this with a sincere heart. Don't do this to yourself by being hateful, angry, boastful about how you hurt the other person and how horrible they were. Once you do so, I can assure you, your thoughts towards the future will be brighter rather than allowing things to fall in place. Choose. Intentionally choose. See how the first thing I spoke about has come into full circle with this. Become intentional and mindful of the thoughts you're spreading about this individual. My thing is this. I've talked to a lot of friends and family, and it comes to this. If someone is struggling with a relationship and they're speaking a lot of venom and a lot of anger and hate and resentment and some even vengefulness, talk to that person and explain to them why. I would like you to understand, wishing your partner peace is something that frees you from the anger, something that frees you from the hate, something that frees you to just let go, let the baggage go, let everything go, so that you can be at peace. Nothing can stop you. Excuse me. The experience of the new relationship, you want it to be beautiful. You want it to be peaceful. And always there is kindness. And when you do, kindness will attract itself to you and begin to do the inner work. Nothing can stop that. Be kind to one another and become at peace with what happens or what happened. Creating a unique and a beautiful experience from what you've known depends on you. Excuse me. It depends on you. Nobody else but you. So, you have to take the time to learn what works for you. Make a choice. And as you do, the universe will give you experiences like that. And once you do, there's no turning back. But joy will be staring you in the face. I hope today's topics were worthwhile in discussing. I am glad I talk about today's topic because I've had several conversations with people once we take the time to think, we become intentional towards one another. One thing I would like you all to walk away. I don't know what you're going through or what your relationships are like, but at least try being intentional and deal with it kindly, and especially when it's ended or going to end. Extend kindness towards it, blessings actually, to the person for coming into your life and for you learning some lessons, good or bad. It was a lesson, and you gladly take and use it. Because when you use it, you begin to experience something new, beautiful, and powerful. And there's nothing better than that. My name is Rhoda Aglago. thank you for joining me. Next week, we'll be doing another podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's topics. Write to me. Those who want to write to me at love, forgive, live at gmail.com. Let me spell it out, okay? Love, L-U-V, the number 4, give, G-I-V-E, live, L-I-V-E, at gmail.com. Once again, is love, L-U-V, the number 4, give, G-I-V-E, live, at gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. You can go ahead and check our website and check this out for yourself and learn a thing or two. I believe I have TikTok videos on there. You can go in and look it up. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us. Have an amazing week. Thank you for joining me. And I love you. I don't know you, but I just love you because guess what? We are family. We are all a part of the human race. And for that, I love you all. Have an amazing week. And thank you once again. Enjoy your week. Bye.